A retired school teacher from Ohio flew to her granddaughter's wedding last spring. She paid $85 in baggage fees she didn't owe, stood in a security line for 40 minutes she didn't have to, and sat in a middle seat for 4 hours that she never should have been assigned. Everything she needed was already built into her ticket. She just didn't know to ask. Today I'm giving you 15 free perks Airlines will hand over the moment you open your mouth. And I promise, number 7 is going to make you genuinely angry you didn't know sooner. Why? Airlines stay quiet. Here's the thing nobody in the airline industry will ever say out loud. They are not going to volunteer information that costs them money. United, Delta, American, Southwest, these are businesses, not charities, and every free service they hand you cuts into a margin they've spent decades protecting. So the perks exist, they're real. Many of them are federally required. But the system is designed around one quiet assumption that you won't ask. Today we flip that assumption completely upside down. 15 perks, the exact words to claim each one, and a few things along the way that genuinely stunned me when I first found them. Let's get into it. Perk 15. The gate pass. Your family doesn't know exists. This one surprises almost everyone, and honestly it surprised me too. Your son, your daughter, your neighbor Carol, who drove you to the airport, none of them need a plane ticket to walk you to your gate. Most major U.S. airlines will print a free gate escort pass at the staffed check-in counter. Your escort carries your bag, clears security with you, and stays until you board. A daughter spent 3 years watching her mother disappear through sliding doors alone, dragging 2 bags and a purse the size of a small country. One question at the counter changed everything. Ask at the staffed counter only, not the kiosk. Bring your escort's photo ID and arrive 30 minutes early. Your magic phrase, I'd like to request an escort pass so my daughter can walk me to the gate. Perk 14, free wheelchair escort, even if you walk just fine. This is the one airlines really don't want on your radar. It costs them staffing and coordination every single time, and yet it is federally mandated. They cannot say no. Most people assume wheelchair assistance is only for passengers who cannot walk at all. That is not how the policy works. Tired legs, heavy bags, a terminal that stretches 3 city blocks. If you're 65 or older, you qualify. What you get is remarkable. Faster security lane, direct transportation to your gate, help with your carry-on, and you board before first class. Before everyone who paid extra for early boarding, you go first. Request it when you book or call 48 hours before. If you can walk but need distance help, ask specifically for ambulatory assistance. Your magic phrase, I like to request ambulatory assistance from check-in to my gate. Perk 13, door-to-gate cart service at Connections. If you've ever had a 45-minute connection at Dallas-Fort Worth, you already know. Those terminals might as well be in separate zip codes. Federal law requires airlines to provide free guided assistance at every connection point, not just departure. Someone should be waiting at the jet bridge with a cart when your first flight lands. No sprinting, no rolling bags bouncing off your ankles, no arriving at gate D47 with your heart doing things it absolutely shouldn't. The catch, you must request this when you book and confirm again 48 hours before. The system doesn't flag it automatically. It often doesn't. A 72-year-old from Florida almost missed her Atlanta connection because nobody told her it had to be prearranged. She made it. Barely. Your magic phrase, I'd like to confirm connection assistance has been arranged at every layover on my itinerary. Perk 12. TSA age. Accommodations with no application and no fee. Let me be direct because there is genuine confusion about this one. If you are 75 or older, TSA provides automatic modified screening accommodations. No application, no background check, no $78 enrollment fee. You do not need TSA pre-check, shoes stay on, light jacket stays on. If the scanner triggers an alarm, You get a second pass before anyone initiates a pat-down. Here's what frustrates me. TSA officers are not required to announce this. They wait for you to identify yourself first. So the 76-year-old who doesn't know stands there in her socks on a floor I don't even want to think about, wondering why nobody told her. So you tell them first. TSA Cares. Helpline 1-855-787-2227. Call at least 72 hours before departure. Your magic phrase, I'm 75 and I'd like to note my age before we begin screening. Perk 11. The senior fare hiding behind one phone call. I want you to think about the last time you booked a flight. You went online, sorted by price, and picked something reasonable, completely logical, also possibly the most expensive way a senior traveler can book a ticket. Here's what comparison websites will never tell you. They don't know your age. The algorithm assumes full price, so it shows full price. Meanwhile, several major airlines still carry senior fare codes on specific routes, discounts that exist exclusively in their reservation systems, invisible to any public booking page. On United's website, a passenger type drop-down that almost nobody touches lets you select 65 plus and senior fares appear. On American and Delta, only reservations agents can access them. One phone call is the entire barrier. Your magic phrase, is there a senior fare filed on this route for passengers 65 and older that isn't showing online? Vague questions get vague answers. Perk 10. Free special meals. Nobody orders. This one is quiet, useful, and almost entirely ignored, which is a shame because it genuinely changes how you feel when you land. On full-service international flights, airlines load free special meals, low sodium, diabetic-friendly, gluten-free, heart-healthy. Request them through Manage My Booking at least 48 hours before departure. No charge. Here's the part I find almost poetic. Special meals come off the cart first. While everyone around you waits for the flight attendant to reach row 23, your tray is already in front of you. 20 minutes early, I switch to the low-sodium meal on long international flights, and the difference in how I feel at the destination is not subtle. Confirm at the gate that your meal made the load sheet. Occasionally it doesn't. Better to find out on the ground than at 35,000 feet. Perk 9. Pre-boarding with a single sentence. Most seniors believe pre-boarding is reserved for wheelchair users only. That belief is costing them overhead bin space, stress, and a rush start to every flight. Under federal disability rules, any passenger who needs additional time or assistance to board simply tells the gate agent, and they board before general boarding begins. No documentation, no diagnosis, no explaining your medical history to a stranger in a uniform. You self-identify. That is the complete process. The companion traveling with you boards at the same time. No separation, no arguing about boarding groups, no watching your travel partner disappear onto the plane while you're still standing in line. I'll be honest with you. I assume for longer than I should have that this required some kind of form or doctor's note. It doesn't. It requires a sentence, said calmly, to the gate agent before boarding begins. And I want to stress the before. Not during the chaos when Group B is already moving. Before. Go to the desk early. You never have to specify a diagnosis. You never have to justify the request medically. I need a little extra time to board is sufficient. That's it. Airlines are legally prohibited from demanding medical documentation for this accommodation. Your magic phrase, I need a little extra time to board. I'd like to pre-board, please. Say it early. Say it calmly. Then walk onto that plane first and find your bin space before anyone else even reaches the jetway. Perk 8. The seat. The law. Actually reserves for you. This one stopped me cold the first time I read the regulation. because it means certain seats on every flight are legally yours, and airlines cannot charge you a premium seat fee to access them. If you cannot lower yourself over a fixed armrest due to a physical limitation, the airline is required to seat you in an aisle seat with a movable armrest. If you have a leg that cannot bend or flex normally, you are entitled to a seat with appropriate legroom at no additional charge. If you travel with a companion whose job is to physically assist you during the flight, that person must be seated directly beside you, again at no extra charge, even on the cheapest fare. The airline cannot sell these accommodations back to you as preferred seat upgrades. They are required seating adjustments, not amenities. Here is how you access this. You call the airline's accessibility desk, not general reservations, the accessibility desk specifically, at least 48 hours before departure. You describe the physical need, not necessarily a diagnosis. I can't lower into a seat with a fixed armrest is a complete explanation. They arrange the seat before you ever reach the airport. For those of us carrying a few decades of wear on our hips and knees, which, honestly, is most of us by a certain point, this phone call is the most comfortable thing you can do before any flight. Your magic phrase, I need to speak with the accessibility desk about a seating accommodation for my upcoming flight. Perk 7. Free gate checked. Carry on full flights. All right, here it is. The one I promised would make you a little angry when a flight is full and the overhead bins run out, which on most domestic flights today is basically every single flight. Gate agents need passengers to voluntarily check their carry-on bags. Free. Tagged to your final destination. No baggage fee. No lifting it over your head and hoping your shoulder agrees with the decision. No wrestling it out from between two other bags at the end of the flight. The airline handles it for nothing because they need the bin space. And here's what most passengers don't realize. You don't have to wait for the announcement. You can walk up to the gate agent before boarding starts and volunteer your bag proactively. Same result, no fee. And honestly, you board lighter, you settle faster, and you don't have to perform the overhead bin shuffle that has injured more travelers than anyone wants to admit. I gate check by choice now on full flights. My shoulder has opinions and I've learned to respect them. Keep your medications, your valuables, and anything you'll need during the flight in your personal item under the seat. Everything else, let them carry it. Your magic phrase, I'd like to gate check my carry-on if space is limited. Can you tag it to my final destination? Confirm that final destination part. It matters more than you think. Perk 6. Last minute seat. Upgrades in the 30-minute window. There is a very specific window of time before boarding when the airline seating chart quietly shifts one final time. Most passengers have no idea it exists. In those 20 to 30 minutes before boarding begins, last-minute cancellations process. Passengers miss connections and seats that were blocked by the system suddenly become available, including exit rows, extra legroom seats, bulkhead positions, and occasionally premium economy. The gate agents screen updates in real time, and in that window, they have discretion to move passengers. Calm, polite, senior travelers, particularly those who have already arranged wheelchair assistance or pre-boarding, match the profile gate agents tend to accommodate, not because of any written policy, because agents deal with demanding passengers all day, and a genuinely kind request from someone with a reasonable comfort need stands out. A 68-year-old retiree approached the gate agent 30 minutes before boarding, explained she had a long flight and some trouble with her lower back, and asked quietly whether any aisle seats with extra legroom had opened up. The agent typed for about 10 seconds and moved her to row 12. No charge. Arrive at the gate 45 minutes before boarding. Wait until that 20 to 30 minute window opens up. Then approach the desk. Your magic phrase, I'm a senior traveler. Are there any seats with extra leg room or aisle access available before boarding? Polite. Specific. Timed correctly. European airline data suggests nearly 60% of travelers over 60 who ask politely in that window receive some kind of improvement. The worst answer you'll ever get is no. Perk 5. Medical equipment and medication flies. Free airlines cannot charge baggage fees for medically necessary equipment. This is not a negotiation, it is policy. CPAP machines, portable oxygen concentrators, insulin coolers, nebulizers, mobility aids, wheelchairs, walkers, canes, all of these fly free. They do not count towards your carry-on allowance. They do not count towards your checked baggage limit. They are medically necessary items and they travel at no charge. A 70-year-old diabetic was told at the gate that his insulin cooler and CPAP machine were exceeding his baggage allowance and he'd be charged $85. He said 5 words, "These are medically necessary items." The agent checked the system and waved him through. 0 fees, 5 words. Now here is something that changed in recent years that you absolutely need to know. TSA now requires proof of prescription for medications exceeding a 10-day supply. That means original pharmacy labels on bottles, a printed letter from your doctor listing your prescriptions, or paperwork that includes your doctor's contact information. A pill organizer with no labels is not sufficient, and it has caused real problems for real travelers. Keep medications in original containers with labels visible. Carry a printed doctor's letter. For liquid medications over 3.4 ounces, which are allowed despite what some people believe, declare them separately at the checkpoint before screening begins. Your magic phrase at check-in: "These items are medically necessary and should be exempt from baggage fees under your airline's policy." Your magic phrase at TSA: "I'm traveling with prescription medications and medical equipment, and I'd like to declare them before screening." Perk 4. Extra baggage allowance buried in fine print. Thousands of senior travelers pay unnecessary baggage fees every year, not because they packed too much, because no one told them the airline's own policy entitled them to more. Several international airlines quietly grant additional baggage allowances for passengers over 60. Some allow 1 extra checked bag. Others increase the weight limit by 10 kilograms. The policies exist. They're just not displayed anywhere obvious. Air India grants passengers 60 and older an additional 10 kilograms on international flights. Air Europa allows 1 free bundle under 23 kilograms for vital medical equipment and medication. SAS offers similar allowances for essential medical items. Even on airlines, without a formal senior policy, individual gate agents have discretion, and asking politely at check-in has saved travelers between $50 and $100 per flight. A 69-year-old flying to visit her grandchildren paid $60 for a second checked bag. She found out afterward that her airline's policy allowed passengers over 65 1 additional free bag. The gate agent never mentioned it. The information was buried in a 47-page PDF on a page nobody reads. Before you book, search the airline's website for the phrase senior baggage policy or special passenger allowance. When you call to book or confirm, ask directly. Your magic phrase: "Do you offer additional baggage allowance for passengers over 60? I'd like that noted on my reservation." Perk 3. Delay compensation. Nobody volunteers. When your flight is delayed 3 or more hours due to something within the airline's control, a mechanical issue, a crew scheduling problem, a maintenance situation, every major U.S. carrier has committed in writing to provide meal vouchers, hotel accommodations for overnight delays, and transportation. These commitments are filed with the Department of Transportation and are publicly available. The airline is not going to walk up to you at the gate and announce this. Not once have I seen that happen unprompted. Additionally, since late 2024, Federal rules require automatic cash refunds, not travel vouchers, actual money, when your flight is canceled or significantly changed and you choose not to rebook. A retired couple's flight from Phoenix to Boston was delayed 5 hours due to a mechanical issue. They sat at the gate for the entire time, bought $40 worth of airport food, and paid $180 for a hotel when the flight was eventually canceled. They were entitled to all of it covered by the airline. Nobody told them. They never asked. Go directly to the airline counter. Stay calm, stay firm, and be specific about what you're requesting. Your magic phrase. This is a controllable delay. I'd like the meal, voucher, and hotel accommodation your airline committed to on the Department of Transportation dashboard. That specific phrase, controllable delay and DOT dashboard, shifts the conversation immediately. It signals that you know the policy exists, and that changes how quickly things happen. Perk 2. Lounge access during long layovers. Here's a perk that lives entirely on the other side of simply asking for it. Gate agents have the authority to issue complimentary lounge passes during significant delays or long connections. They will never offer this unprompted, but travelers receive it regularly when they ask politely and explain their situation. A 73-year-old had an 8-hour layover in Chicago. She sat exhausted on a terminal bench while 200 feet away sat a quiet lounge with comfortable seating, real food, and, I cannot overstate this, a clean bathroom. She found out afterward. Her exact words were unprintable. Also, check your travel credit card tonight. Many already include lounge access through Priority Pass or Lounge Key, and nobody ever uses it. Your magic phrase, I'm a senior traveler facing a long wait. Are there any lounge accommodation options available? Perk 1. The Federal Referee Airlines. Hope you never name. Every U.S. airline is legally required to have a complaint resolution official, a CRO, available at every airport every hour they operate. This is not a customer service supervisor. This is a specifically trained, specifically authorized individual whose entire job is ensuring the airline follows federal law on the spot, in real time. Wheelchair assistance denied, pre-boarding refused, seating accommodation rejected. The CRO can override those decisions immediately. They must be made available to you. That is not optional. Here's what I find genuinely maddening. Most gate agents go their entire career hearing this request only a handful of times because almost nobody knows the position exists. The airlines certainly aren't advertising it. Use this for assistance and accommodation disputes only, not fair complaints. When a legal right has been denied, this phrase carries enormous weight. Your magic phrase, I'd like to speak with your complaint resolution official, please. Almost nobody knows to say it. Now you do. Your action plan. Here is your complete action plan before your next flight. When you book, request wheelchair or ambulatory assistance, confirm connection cart service at every layover, and order your special meal through Manage My Booking at least 48 hours before. Call the accessibility desk about any seating accommodations, confirm your medical equipment exemptions are noted on your reservation, and check your credit card's lounge benefits. At the airport, ask about the gate, escort pass at the staffed check-in counter, mention your age at the TSA checkpoint if you're 75 or older, and arrive at your gate early enough to request pre-boarding before the rush begins. In the 30-minute window before boarding, approach the gate agent about seat upgrades. If things go wrong, go directly to the airline counter for delay compensation, ask about lounge access during long waits, and if any accommodation is denied, request the complaint resolution official. These perks were built for you. They exist specifically because air travel is harder after 60 and the regulations acknowledge that. The airlines just made a quiet bet that you wouldn't ask. Today you know better. If this opened your eyes to benefits you didn't know existed, hit like and subscribe for more travel information they're counting on you not having. Share this with someone who has a flight coming up and drop in the comments, Which of these 15 surprised you the most? I read every single one. Safe travels. I'll see you in the next one.